I've been driving a city bus for the better part of 12 years. Started when I was 25, right after my wife left me, and I needed something steady, something that didn't require me to think too much. You just drive. Same route, same stops, same faces, day after day, night after night. It's not a glamorous job, but it paid the bills and kept me out of my own head. I work the late shift, usually from 8 p.m. until 4 in the morning. The route I've been on for the past 3 years is the number 47 line. It runs from the downtown transit center out to the eastern suburbs, then loops back. About 40 stops total. Most of them are well lit. Bus shelters, benches, the occasional homeless guy sleeping it off. Nothing unusual, except for one stop. It's on a stretch of Old Mill Road, about a mile past the last industrial building before you hit the residential area. The stop is called Cedar Lane on the schedule. But there is no Cedar Lane anymore. The street sign came down sometime in the late 90s. The shelter is still there, sort of. A rusted metal frame with a plastic roof that's half caved in. No bench, no trash can, no lights. Just a concrete pad and a pole with a faded sign that's barely readable. Most drivers skip it. The company doesn't care because nobody ever gets on or off there. I used to skip it too. Then I started noticing the time. Every single night, at exactly 11:11 p.m., my watch would buzz. I wear a cheap digital watch, nothing fancy. It has an hourly chime that I turned off years ago, but at 11:11, it would buzz. Just once. I thought it was a glitch. Then I realized the bus's internal clock on the fare box also flickered at that moment. Just for a second. The display would go blank and then come back. I told myself it was electrical. Old bus. Wires are probably corroded. But one night, I decided not to skip Cedar Lane. I don't know why. Curiosity maybe, or boredom. It was a Tuesday. The bus was empty. I had picked up my last passenger about 20 minutes earlier and dropped them off near the industrial park. So I was alone. The night was cold, early November. No moon. I turned the corner onto Old Mill Road and saw the shelter up ahead. Dark. Empty. Like always. I pulled over anyway. Opened the doors out of habit. The hydraulic hiss sounded louder than usual in the silence. I waited 5 seconds. 10. Nobody got on. I was about to close the doors and drive off when I saw him. He was standing right next to the shelter, not inside it. Next to it. Like he had been leaning against the pole and just stepped forward. I hadn't seen him before. I swear I looked. The shelter was empty. But there he was. A man in a suit. A dark suit. Black. Or maybe charcoal gray. White shirt. No tie. His hair was slicked back. He looked to be in his 50s. Clean shaven. His hands were at his sides. He wasn't holding a phone or a bag or anything. Just standing there, staring at the bus. I said, "You getting on?" He didn't answer. He just walked up the steps. No hurry, no hesitation. His shoes made a soft clicking sound on the metal stairs. He walked past me without making eye contact and sat down in the third row on the right side, the window seat. He sat up straight, hands on his knees, looked straight ahead. I waited for him to pay. He didn't. I said, "Sir, fare is $2. Nothing. I said it again, louder. He didn't even blink. I thought maybe he was deaf, or drunk, or mentally unwell. It happens. I wasn't going to fight a guy in a suit over $2 at 11 o'clock at night on an empty bus. So I closed the doors and drove. The rest of the route was silent. He didn't move, didn't look around, didn't look out the window, just stared at the back of the seat in front of him. When I reached the end of the line, I pulled into the transit center and parked. I turned around to tell him this was the last stop, But the seat was empty. No sign anyone had been there. No trash, no ticket stub. Nothing. I figured he got off when I wasn't looking. No big deal. The next night, I forgot about it. Same route, same time. I skipped Cedar Lane because I was running 2 minutes behind. But the next night, I wasn't behind. I was exactly on time. And at 11:11, my watch buzzed. The fare box flickered. I looked at Cedar Lane as I approached. The shelter was empty. I almost drove past. But something made me stop. I opened the doors. 5 seconds. 10. Then he stepped out from behind the shelter. Same suit. Same posture. Same empty expression. He walked up the steps past me and sat in the exact same seat. 3rd row, right side, window seat. Didn't pay, didn't speak. That time, I watched him. I kept looking in my rearview mirror as I drove. He didn't move. Not once. His reflection was there, clear as day. A man in a dark suit, sitting perfectly still. I started talking to him. Nothing personal. Just cold night out there and you live around here and you got a name, buddy? Nothing. Not a word. Not a glance. When I reached the end of the line, I turned around. The seat was empty. I checked the floor. Nothing. I checked the other seats. Nothing. I checked the back door. It was still locked. He couldn't have gotten off without me hearing or seeing. But he was gone. This went on for 2 weeks. Every night at 11:11 p.m., I would pull up to Cedar Lane. Every night, he would board. Same seat, same silence, same disappearance at the end of the line. I started to get creeped out, not scared, just uneasy. Like something was wrong, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So I asked my boss. His name is Don. He's been with the transit authority for 30 years. Seen it all. Drunk drivers, fare evaders, medical emergencies, you name it. I caught him in the break room one morning after my shift ended. I said, "Hey Don, quick question. The Cedar Lane stop on the 47 line, is it still active?" He looked at me funny. Cedar Lane? That stop was decommissioned in 1987. Why? I felt my stomach tighten. I said, "Decommissioned. There's still a shelter there, and a sign." Don shook his head. The city removed the shelter in 87. There was an accident. Somebody got hit crossing the street. They decided to close the stop and reroute. You must be thinking of a different stop. I said, "No, Don. It's still there. Old Mill Road, right before the turn into the residential area. Metal frame, plastic roof, half collapsed." He just stared at me. Then he pulled out an old route map from a filing cabinet. Showed me. The 47 line used to have a stop called Cedar Lane, but the map showed it removed in 1987. The shelter was supposed to be demolished, the sign taken down. I went back to the bus that night. I didn't want to, but I had a shift and I needed the money, so I drove. Same route, same time. At 11:11, my watch buzzed. The fare box flickered. I looked at Cedar Lane as I approached. The shelter was there. I could see it. The rusted frame, the cracked plastic roof, the pole with the faded sign. I pulled over, opened the doors, waited. He didn't come. I waited 30 seconds, a minute. Nothing. I started to close the doors. Then I looked in my side mirror. He was standing right next to the bus, right next to the driver's window, staring at me. His face was inches from the glass. I jumped. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I jumped. I opened the door a crack. I said, "What do you want?" He didn't answer. He just walked to the front and boarded like always. Sat in his seat. 3rd row, right side, window seat. Same as every night. I was shaking now. Not from the cold. From something I couldn't name. After my shift, I went to the security office. I told the guard on duty that I needed to see the footage from my bus camera for the past 2 weeks. He looked at me like I was crazy, but he pulled it up. We watched the footage from the first night I saw the man. The bus was empty. I pulled up to a stop. The stop was just a concrete pad. No shelter, no sign, just a pole where a sign used to be. I opened the doors. Nothing happened. I closed them, drove off. I said, no, that's not right. There was a shelter. A man got on. The guard rewound, played it slower. Same thing. No shelter, no man, just me sitting in an empty bus, stopping for no reason, then driving away. The footage from the other nights was the same. Every time I thought I saw the shelter and the man, the camera showed nothing. Just an empty road, an empty stop, and me, sitting there with the doors open like an idiot. I went home that morning and didn't sleep. I couldn't. I kept thinking about those empty eyes, that suit, the way he never spoke, the way he vanished. I decided I was going to skip Cedar Lane from now on. I didn't care if my watch buzzed. I didn't care about the fare box flickering. I would just drive past, pretend it wasn't there. That night, I did exactly that. I saw the shelter up ahead. My watch buzzed. The fare box flickered. I kept driving. I didn't slow down. I didn't open the doors. I just drove past Cedar Lane without even glancing at the shelter. For a moment, I felt relieved, like I had broken whatever spell it was. I drove about half a mile. The road was dark. No street lights on that stretch. Just my headlights cutting through the fog. Then I heard a knock. Not on the door, on the window, right next to my head, the driver's side window. I turned my head so fast, I almost gave myself whiplash. He was standing outside the bus, on the road, running alongside the bus at 30 miles per hour. His face pressed against the glass. His mouth was moving. He was saying something, but I couldn't hear him over the engine. I slammed on the brakes. The bus lurched to a stop. I looked out the window. He was gone. I looked in the side mirror. Nothing. I looked in the rearview mirror. The aisle was empty. The seats were empty, but the fare box was flashing. 11:11 p.m. It stayed on that time. Didn't flicker, didn't reset. Just flashed 11:11 over and over. I drove the rest of my shift without stopping. Didn't pick up any passengers. Didn't open the doors. I just drove in a daze until 4 in the morning. When I parked the bus at the depot, the fare box was still flashing. I had to disconnect the battery to make it stop. I didn't go back to work the next night. I called in sick. The night after that, I called in sick again. Don called me on the third day, said if I didn't come in, he'd have to find someone else for the route. So I went back. I decided to face it. Whatever this was, it wasn't going to stop unless I confronted it. So at 11:11, I pulled up to Cedar Lane. The shelter was there. The sign was there. The man was standing next to the pole, waiting. I opened the doors. He walked up the steps, but this time, he didn't go to his seat. He stopped right next to me, right next to the driver's seat. He leaned in close. I could smell him. Old wool, cigarette smoke, something else, something cold, like a basement, he whispered. His voice was dry, cracked, like someone who hadn't spoken in years. "You're not supposed to remember me." I said, "Remember you? I don't even know you." He tilted his head. His eyes didn't blink. He said, "You were there, 1987, Cedar Lane. You were just a kid. You saw what happened, and you forgot." But I didn't. I felt something cold run down my spine. I said, "I was born in 1985. I was 2 years old in 1987. I wasn't anywhere." He smiled. It was the first expression I'd seen on his face. It made everything worse. He said, "You've been driving this route for 12 years, but you've been on this road much longer than that. You just don't remember." He walked to his seat, sat down. Third row, right side, window seat, stared straight ahead. I don't remember finishing my shift. I don't remember parking the bus. I don't remember going home. The next morning, I woke up in my apartment with my clothes still on. My watch was buzzing. It was 11:11 a.m. The watch had never buzzed during the day before. I went to the county records office. I looked up the accident Dawn mentioned, the one in 1987 at Cedar Lane. A child had been hit crossing the street, a 2-year-old boy. The driver of the car was never identified. The child survived but had no memory of the incident. The stop was closed shortly after. The shelter was removed. The child's name was mine. I don't know how I forgot. Trauma, maybe, or something else, something that wanted me to forget. But that man in the suit, he was there that night. He saw what happened, and he's been waiting for me to remember ever since. I still drive the 47 line. I still pass Cedar Lane every night at 11:11. But I don't stop anymore. I don't open the doors, and I don't look at the shelter. I just drive. My watch still buzzes. The fare box still flickers. And sometimes, in my peripheral vision, I see him standing at the side of the road, watching, waiting. He told me I'm not supposed to remember him. But now that I do, I can't forget. And I think that's exactly what he wanted. Not to be remembered, but to make sure I never stop remembering. The last thing he whispered to me before I drove away that night, he said, "I'll see you at the end of the line, whenever that is." I don't know what he meant, and I don't want to find out.